Hey, welcome back to the 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl, man. It's Making a Difference Wednesday. We're highlighting all our foundations, organizations, nonprofits, and businesses that support their communities today. And we have our own Laurie Montoya. I don't know if she's in Colorado, Vegas, Hawaii,
I bet she's in
Cleburne,
Colorado.
wherever she is. But she has a special guest that she wants to bring on. So Laurie Montoya with BikerDown. What's going on, Laurie?
Hey guys, how are you? How are you?
How are you?
I don't have a cowboy hat on today.
I know. What's going on? Cancel. Yeah.
Well, I'm in Colorado. I'm in the BikerChat studio in my basement. And the guest that I've decided to bring on today is Stephen Crook. And to be quite honest with you, he's my son-in-law. And 20 years.
Going there?
Pardon me?
Little nepotism going there? No.
No, I really admire him from afar, not only as a great human being and a great father to his kids, but for the mission that he has with a company that he founded called Through the Storm Apparel. And so he's on. So I don't know if you want to bring him on.
Yeah, is he on? Bring him on.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Laurie. Thanks for having me.
No worries. No worries. I want to introduce you to Sideshow and Pitbull, and I think Tattoo Mark is still there too.
Yeah, he's still here. Hey,
welcome,
Stephen.
So tell us a little bit about Through the Storm.
So our NOMR is we're the grittiest hat company in America, but we're backed by a mission to end veteran suicide. So that's us in a nutshell, and the Woodmore line kind of explains that.
And so take us back to the moment or the experience that made you say, I need to start this brand.
So I've done 20 years in the military. I just retired May 1st. And while I was in, I've had a lot of service members commit or try to commit suicide. While I was deployed in the Middle East on my second deployment, I had a young lady. She was 19 years old and she tried to commit. And I was the chief of the boat and I asked some tough questions to the crew. And I said, were there any red flags? And everybody raised their hand and said, yes, there were red flags. And I got pissed and I was like, why didn't you do anything about it? Why didn't anybody stand up for this lady, this girl? And they all said the same thing. Their response was, we're all struggling, Chief. So that kind of kicked it off for me that most people in the military community are alphas and they feel like they're silenced. And they feel like if they say something, they're weak, but they're taking their lives at an epidemic rate. And I just wanted to do something about it. So I landed on Apparel. I felt like it was a good way to take a message, spread a message, and give that message back to nonprofits that help end veteran suicide.
You know, Stephen, you're touching a chord inside me that because I do a lot of stuff with post-traumatic stress. I call post-traumatic stress injury, not a disorder, because we're not disordered. We are injured. It's a silent injury. It's an invisible injury to our brain. But with you doing this company, is it a healing aspect as for you too? I mean, because I'm sure 20 years you're battling yourself. You have your demons you fight every morning. Does this help you in a way to give back?
It does. It also kind of digs at some scars, and I think we all kind of have our own demons that we fight. But when you're facing people that are dealing with the same things and maybe not on the same trajectory as you are, you kind of feel empathy at their most recent point where you meet them at. So yeah, it's a healing effect, but it also brings back some traumas as well.
It does. And, you know, vulnerability and talking about our traumas is definitely just like journaling or putting something out in writing or speaking about it. It releases those demons a little bit, and it does help you out a little bit. The hat that you guys developed, it's the dingiest hat. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, it's the grittiest hat company in America. So yeah, there you go. Kind of like the hat that I'm wearing. So we lean into grit,
which is one of my favorites, by the way. It really is, because I was like, that looks like the Marlboro logo. But no, it's one that really stands out. I mean, I love this leather one too. He also has one that floats.
Yeah, several of our performance hats float. The reason that I decided to lean into grit is associated with resilience. And if we can build an iron mindset, and to build a community of brotherhood, sisterhood that you can lean on each other. I felt like grit was the best word that I could use to help build mental resilience. So we just kind of lean into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell
Amen.
us a little bit about you have a program that every hat sold supports a bigger cause. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with 5 different nonprofits, and I'm very picky on who I work with, just because I don't want it to go to the wrong hands. So I'm very picky. So currently, we work mostly with Canines for Warriors, and they're kind of here in our own backyard, but they're a national brand, and they have another campus in San Antonio, Texas. So my backyard is Florida. They have a headquartered here, pretty close to Jacksonville. So what they do is they take a dog from a high kill shelter, and that dog trains for 9 to 10 months, and then they pair a veteran with that dog, and the veteran comes on campus, lives on campus for 30 days, and then that veteran walks away with a trained dog that helps them navigate the world with PTSD with a friend. So it's a great cause. It's a great organization, and 75 cents of the dollar goes to the cause. So
you've donated quite a bit to the Canine for Warriors. Since you guys have been founded for what I think 3 years now, really hitting it hard. It was a concept for a while, and now you're in the thick of it and stuff. But you've donated quite a bit to outside charities based on the sales. So it's really something to be admired. And the one thing we also don't talk about is what the family around that person goes through when they're having those thoughts, or I don't want to say demons, but they're that person's just not themselves. And the families go through a lot. John, I know that you can testify to that of sometimes you just are going through something, and you're going through the storm, and it's really hard on the people around you.
Well, it all comes down to education, and getting your spouse or your family members involved in what you've been through. The days of hiding our traumas, back in the day where we said, nope, it makes us stronger to hold it in. And it really doesn't. It does more damage to hold it in. And, when we, cops, I know it from a law enforcement aspect, cops say, oh, I'm not going to tell you what happened today. I'm not, our spouses see this crap on TV, so, you don't have to give them the gory details, but you tell them that you're battling, and it makes you more of a man or a woman to say that you're battling.
It's okay not to be okay.
And we just, we got to erase the stigma that society has put on post-traumatic stress, because we, as military members or law enforcement, we're afraid to come forward because we don't want death duty. We want to lose our job. We're going to be stripped of our purpose in life. And until our uppers see that, these are normal injuries that everybody is battling, and get the person the help that they need, they're going to go back even stronger and a better person afterwards if they get the help from the people that they're fighting for.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's truly accurate. Yeah.
I love the aspect of the hat. And you're donating a lot back to our veteran society. And that's what's so important. That's why I love this, Making a Difference Wednesday, because you are definitely making a difference in veterans' lives and family lives throughout the country. And it's so easy to do by just putting a hat on somebody, purchasing a hat that's going to support an organization that's going to help people.
Cap for a cause.
Right. We spent.
And it's also, again, what you keep talking about is, yes, there are very wonderful big charities out there nationwide, advertising budgets at numbers we can't even imagine. And then you have people like me with BikerDown, Stephen with Through the Storm, Tattoo Mark, even though he's my idol. But my point is, Dawn, there are a lot of people out there with the compensatory to do good for others. And that's one thing, Stephen, that I admire so much, is you came home and said, I want to make a difference. You didn't just tuck it away And I have seen even firsthand when other people, even within our family, that are going through something, how you're able to break it down and identify when maybe someone in a family is like, I'm done with them. You're like, no, we're not done with them. They're going through this, and we all need to recognize this. So it's really something that not only with your company, I've seen you pay it forward. I've seen you talk to people in your booth and things like that. It's even within our family. I've always kidded around that I was raised in dysfunction. I raised my daughter in dysfunction, and somehow you are one of the stable forces within our family that always is able to dissect a situation. And so this has helped heal you yourself, but at the same time, I see all the good that you're doing for your family, and you've raised just a tremendous, with the help of Ashley, but you've raised just a tremendous family.
Gotta give
But
her
it
applause,
does
for sure.
help you, and that's the message to anyone going through this, is get healed, and then spider that out to other people that you recognize are going through, because PTSD comes in many forms and sizes and shapes and things, and it's really a skill set that you should be extremely proud of.
Thank
And
you.
I love the name of the company, Through the Storm, because we all have those dark clouds over us, and we never know when they're going to end. And I think I brought this up to you the other day. I showed you,
Yes.
if you could see this on my neck,
I've known him for years, and I just found out about this last weekend.
I have I hold I wear the number 41 around my neck because Noah battled the storms and the rains for 40 days and 40 nights, and never knew when that storm was going to pass. Never knew what the outcome was going to be. And that's what post-traumatic stress is all about. You never know when those storm clouds are going to clear, but you will have your day 41 one day. If you keep on your path and you keep moving forward, you will hit that 41. Those dark clouds will pass. And that's why I really resonate.
That sounds like a new T-shirt, Stephen.
I resonate with
sounds like a new T-shirt, John.
the name of your company. It is just
well, what I also love about it is there's also that story of how buffaloes, and most people know that buffalo's my spirit animal, and a buffalo, instead of running from the storm, they will head into the storm, because the sooner they head into the storm, the sooner they get out and through the storm. So it's kind of I've always said that'd be a great Sturgis T-shirt, is how the buffalo getting through the storm. But so tell us a little bit about how you got the name, because it is really interesting how you got the name Through the Storm. And the bird,
really
tell
is.
us about the bird.
So I started, I wanted to call this Into the Storm. And as I was going down the path of the name, it was already taken by Rich Froning. And I don't know if you know who Rich Froning is. He's a CrossFit, at one point or another, is the most elitist man in the world. As far as athlete is concerned, he was a CrossFit champion, and he started a brand called Into the Storm, and it was based out of his farm, Froning Farms. And it's trademarked. And I was like, shit, what do I do? Sorry, excuse the language.
No,
what do I do?
F-bombs are welcome here.
I'm sitting next to Pitbull, but she's been good. She hasn't dropped an F-bomb yet.
Not yet.
You haven't.
So I decided to pivot, and I wanted to do Through the Storm because it makes more sense to go through the storm than into the storm. The bird that I chose for my icon, I kept seeing this bird right before I was deployed, but I only saw one or two of them at a time. Yeah, it's called a frigate bird.
Frigate bird.
And you see one or two of them at a time, and they're seabirds. You see them in South Florida and then the Caribbean, and they're
seabird.
It's a seabird. Yeah, it's like an 8-foot wingspan. They're huge birds. Wow. And they fly at months and months at sea. And I saw 200 of them flying over an island one day, and I've never seen that many. And the next day we got underway, and we got hit by a storm, and we were in that storm for like 3 days. So it was 15-foot seas getting our asses kicked. So I came back, and I Googled why I saw so many of them, and there's only 2 reasons why. So one is if they're breeding, which it was wintertime and they're not breeding. And then 2 is if when you see that many of them, they're trying to get away from a storm because their wings cannot get wet. They're incredibly adaptable birds. So they're a weatherman in a sense, and they represent a storm. So that silhouette is why I chose it. So it represents a storm.
I like it.
Absolutely. And all my grandchildren and my daughter all have the frigate birds. I call them the frigate birds. You know, it's kind of in New York, a frigate birds, the friggin'
Forget
birds.
about it. Yeah.
But we're almost out of time here. And I just wanted to ask you a question. If you could leave our audience with one message about getting through their own storm, what would that be?
Storms are temporary. They're always temporary. So what you feel is going to last forever, that storm will pass. It could be an hour, it could be 2 days, it could be 3 days. It's going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the grit and the resilience
Absolutely.
of wearing through it is what matters.
And you know, if you're in that storm, if anybody's in the sound of our voice right now, and you're in that storm right now, purchase one of these hats, because one, the hats are probably very comfortable and they will keep the storm off your face. They have the brim, they'll stay out of the rain. So, you know, they're storm
That
caps.
too,
They're
yes.
storm caps as well. How
That
can
too,
people
but
If
if
you
you're
golf,
in
you know, that's the one thing is
how can people purchase
Stephen has
Stephen,
worked with a lot of golf courses on performance hats and stuff. And if you're out boating, if you like to go boating, and you know how many times do you lose your cap? Well, this one will float if it goes in the water. So it's a really great thing. And he's got a great program called Stay in the Fight. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that in our last couple minutes?
Yeah, so every hat that I have, I usually put every single hat always has a message on the inside. So when you flip the hat over and you look inside, it says stay in the fight. So when you're looking into your hat, you know that there's going to be something that keeps you in it. And I used that when I was in the military, when we did any of our OPSEC stuff or tactical boat stuff. If you got out of the fight, the words on the radio was get back in the fight, stay in the fight, stay in the fight. So I feel like that translates very well to anybody and everybody, to always stay in the fight, never give in.
now
Absolutely.
how can people purchase a hat, or you know, how is there a website? How do they order it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's throughthestorm.shop is our website, and our Instagram is throughthestorm.apparel.
Yeah, and I'll post those on your site so that if anybody wants to take a look at it, you know, please support, you know, another. There you go. You know, just Stephen, thank you so much for taking your time. I know that you have a huge schedule, very busy, and thank you for finding a few moments. And I'm just honored as your mother-in-law to be so proud of what you're accomplishing and the goals that you're doing. We wanted to just give you a small format to talk to many veterans that watch this, law enforcement. There are a lot of people that are going through this. My bikers go through PTSD after an accident, and what you're doing is really something that should be commended. So thank you so much.
Wait, before you go, Stephen, it's throughthestorm.com.
.com.
.com was taken.
Got you.
Well, hey, we want to shop anyway. So throughthestorm.shop. You know what? The 99 is probably gonna go check that out. We're gonna purchase a few of those hats ourselves to give away give away to some of our listeners. And you know, we're gonna talk a little bit more, Stephen, because I love what you're doing. I love the concept of the hat, and we want to help promote you and share your mission with other veterans out there. So whatever the 99 can do for you, just please let us know. We are here for you.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Laurie, for having me.
Appreciate
God
it.
bless. Love you guys. See you later.
Well, Laurie, hold on before you leave.
Can't leave yet,
You
Laurie.
can't leave yet.
Oh.
We've got to hear about we're
Okay.
on. You know, we're in April, and this is motorcycle awareness month. Watch out for your.
It's
your
stop
motorcycle.
it's stop distracted driving month.
So we need you to voice that. We need that to go out every week, because there's still dumbasses out there that are still on their phones and texting.
I'm still getting help requests from dumbasses that were hit by a distracted driver. So yeah, it's just a mindset. You know, one thing that I've asked everybody this month is to have the conversations with your family, friends, kids, and grandkids. You know, one thing I've always said is that from the moment my grandchildren were born, they had a cell phone at the dinner table or a restaurant watching videos. So our younger generations are just indoctrinated with that impulse control. The minute that phone dings, they feel like they have to answer it. But I will tell you that people of our generation are just as guilty of because we used to live in a time where we could eat a cheeseburger or smoke a cigarette and drive with our knee, but there weren't the amount of on the airplane. And all I'm saying is that I just pledge everybody, we can't stop distracted driving until we recognize that we do it ourselves. And I don't, but I'm constantly yelling at my husband, and he's like, well, I'm not texting. I'm just I'm just doing this, and in a blink of an eye, you can hurt somebody.
Glenn
I think
brought
the
up.
blink of an eye, you're like distracted for like half a mile. I might be wrong on that, but like you're depending on how fast you're going. I mean, taking your eye off the road, depending on how fast you're going, you're missing so much roadway.
Glenn brought this up a couple of weeks ago. He said the texting is worse than drunk driving. They did a study saying that a driver who is texting a couple of sentences on his phone is at like a 0.14 to the intoxicated person.
Yeah.
They culminate the same way, man, and it's just it's
Because
worse than drunk.
And the thing is that
it's worse than drunk driving.
The thing about distracted driving is it's not just texting and driving. It's you're in the car, you got the kids in the back, and you're like, hey, and you're trying to talk to them like this. It's, oh my God, I dropped something. Or as a woman, I'm trying to get something out of my bag. And I'm doing this. Anytime you're taking your hands off the wheel and your eyes off the wheel, you are driving in some form of distracted driving. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Chomper and I were having a conversation the other day in the car, and we were, it wasn't a heated conversation. It was just an intense conversation, and he missed his exit. Yeah. But my point is he missed his exit.
He downplayed that.
And I'm not saying we don't
Chopper Laurie was right. Laurie was right. She's always right.
Always
right.
Mama Bear is right. But my point is, it was just me even having that kind of a conversation with him, and him trying to be attentive towards me, and next thing I know, he missed his exit. Now, he knows to go down to the next, do a U-turn and come back. But my point is, distracted driving kills. It not only kills our biker community, but pedestrians, people that may have the light, the walking light to cross the street. It hurts bicyclists. There's a lot of bicyclists that get hurt by someone driving. They're at a corner, and it's not like a bike, but you're at a corner and you want to cross over the crosswalk. And now this distracted driver runs that red light. It absolutely can kill. So my pledge to everybody is to please have that conversation. Go home tonight and say, hey, hon, do you really text and drive? Or, hey, kids, have you ever texted and drive? And have the conversation with them and ask them to put down the phone.
Yep, 100%.
And getting in the routine when they get in the car to put the phone in a certain spot. I think getting in the routine and putting it somewhere is also like getting in the routine in the car.
I think
you talk about it, but once you get in there, you're like, oh, the music's on.
Yeah, but even in my car, I will not, like, if I have two cars, one has the Bluetooth, so it plugs into Apple Play, and I can go, hey, Siri, check my messages. Hey, Siri. But I also have another vehicle that I wanted to keep authentic, so I didn't want to put that stereo in it. And all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up and everything else. And I'm just like freaked out because I can't check things the way I'm able to do it in my Bluetooth car. Right. So I literally will pull over and go, Chomper, I can't talk to you when I'm in this car the way I can talk to you in the other car. And he'll like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. My point is,
favorite thing about the smart car thing though is you see that name come up when they call, and it has a green button and a red button.
Yeah.
And you hit the red button.
Yeah.
And it all goes away.
Yeah. And then you go, hey, Siri, text Chomper. Hey, Chomper, I can't talk. I'm driving. And knowledge is power. The people that are calling you don't know you're driving. And the truth of the matter is we all grew up in a time where we didn't have cell phones when we first got cars, so we learned that, hey, it can wait. And we're just growing up in an environment where people don't have that impulse control. So it's a matter of, I ask everybody listening,
because we're going to get smart cars and all that stuff. I mean, we're inevitable to have all the smart features happening to the cars and technology. Right. So, I mean, it is going to get weird.
But you hit it on the head. I mean, Pitbull just hit it on the head with the routine aspect. if you break that routine, then it's not the norm anymore. Like like when you get on your
when I get in my car, I plug my cord into my phone so I can listen to the music, and it goes in a certain spot and it stays there. So it's like routine. You got to have that routine, and where that phone's going. For me, that's,
if you can, because everybody's into that. They just fall into that certain thing. When you have it
sitting up there, unless you're an Uber driver or a door dasher, you should not have it hanging in front of your visual, in my opinion.
Unless you use it.
And I don't even think even doing for the delivery.
Right, and that's what I was saying. That's what Chomper does. Now it's in front of him, and he technically thinks his eyes are still on the road, but you have to look to type, and it's just not, it just, no matter what anyone thinks, no matter how good of a driver you think you are.
You wrecked.
Yeah.
Now, I make no mistake. I have at a stoplight, that I know that's a long stoplight, I've got this traffic, and I could pick it up for a second and but the minute that car starts to roll and I'm in control, then that phone has to go down.
All right, Laurie. And also the BikerDown app. How can people get it?
They're so bad. That's the other.
We lost you.
We've actually had a tremendous amount of success. People are signing up. They're seeing the message. And you can get it in Apple and Google Play stores. Just type in BikerDown. Put that in case of emergency information in there. You can do a help request. You can report an accident. We're sending out periodic newsletters or something that's exciting going on. I'd love everybody listening to watch for May 16th. And May 16th is, as far as I'm concerned, National Motorcycle Awareness Day. We do have a whole month, but I'd like all riders nationwide to wear your motorcycle awareness t-shirt. If you don't have one, go on BikerDown, get one, and everybody ride with motorcycle awareness and that t-shirt on the 16th of May. And let's stand in unity to ask people to put their phones down. Can you see me now? Stop hitting us, stop killing us, and just be safe out there.
And you have your gloves too that have the put your phone down, right?
Put your phone down.
Don't you have those?
No texting.
Get off the phone gloves. Those are good too.
But when people
I haven't seen that order come in though, but
when people get on your app, is it going to be just a broad BikerDown, or is it going to be per state?
No, right now it's just a broad BikerDown. That information goes into my database that I extract like every other day, and then I sort it in the Excel by state.
Okay, because I do know that you can follow BikerDown on Facebook. They have the BikerDown, and you can follow per state BikerDown as well.
By state, So like BikerDown Texas has a great following, and I've actually been getting quite a few help requests from the state of Texas. Unfortunately, most of those guys are not carrying the right insurance, so I still think we need to have some sort of insurance seminar or something and pull those people in. One other thing that we're doing pretty exciting is we're doing a free will seminar here in Colorado where we're asking people. I found a nonprofit that will help you fill out your living will, durable power of attorneys, and things like
all
that.
the
Documents that you don't think that you need to have, but really having that stuff. Having all that important documents. So we're having that. I'd love to host one of those in Dallas with you guys, because if it's free, people will come. If they can grab a meal, maybe we can get Glenn to come in, talk to them about the insurance. But the free, as I always say, you can have a husband, a man and a wife that have been together for 15 years, but they're not legally married. You get in ICU and somebody can keep you out of ICU. Just having those kind of decisions and having
when you can't
I'm cutting in and out again
for you.
And if you pass, you want someone, say you got a 20-year partner and you want them to have that
even at like my age at 40 something. If I'm like a hardcore you don't think about that at a young age, that something can happen to you when you're riding, and what's going to happen. You're a parent. Who's taking the
Yeah.
kid? What's happening with your finance? What's going on? Like
Yep.
you got to think
Or
about that.
someone
People
all
just-
of a sudden flies in that's family and tells ICU that your 20-year partner, because they don't happen to like them from last year's Christmas party.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they tell ICU that they can't come in because they're not family.
Get it in paper. It don't matter. Just get it in paper.
Pipples
There you go.
Pipples letting me make all her life decisions.
No, no. I might maybe
I think
bigger.
she chooses
Maybe
me.
bigger.
She knows that I would come in and stomp on anyone who
Yeah,
wasn't doing
I
exactly what
Lori
she
down.
wanted.
Oh man, if
I'm gonna
God forbid
worry
she'd be in the
out.
hospital, she'll like the doctor be like, yeah, she's got
I'd
a
be
broken-
like, oh no, you didn't.
Here comes
Anyway.
Lori.
Don't make
All right,
me
Laurie.
don't make me call Mama Bear is what a lot of my friends say. Don't make me call Mama Bear.
Laurie, thank you so much for being a part today, and thank you, Stephen, with Through the Storm baseball caps. We're gonna keep you updated and show you on how you can order yours today and give back to our veteran community. So thank you
Thank
for
you guys
bringing
for
them on.
allowing me to have them. I'm super proud of them.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about that off air because maybe we can help promote even more with that because I do really love his concept.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. God bless.
You got
You
it.
too,
God bless
Billy.
you, Laurie. Take care. Man, Laurie
All right,
Montoya with BikerDown and her
From
son-in-law
Colorado.
Stephen, who now has
She
a new
knows
company, Through the Storm, with the gritty baseball caps, man.
I like it.
And 75% goes to the veteran community. I dig it. And he's doing the canine thing. God bless him, man. And that's what it's all about. It's all about giving back. That just really elevated our Making a Difference Wednesday to new levels on helping support our veteran, our first responder, and all the other communities that are out there, which we will be talking about more once we get back after these messages.